Before we get started, a big thank you to all of my supporters over on Patreon and on Twitch, with the Patreon people coming up on screen now. A big thank you to my legendary supporters, Mike, Kira, Truck Driving Gamer, and Obi-Wan Kanzi. Thank you guys, I really very much appreciate it. If you would like to help support me and the channel, then you can head over to twitch.tv/mandatoryquest and drop a sub over there. Or you can go over to patreon.com/mandatoryquest and become a Patreon member for some early access to some videos and some behind the scenes stuff. Okay, so we are coming back to Raven's Roost. Last stream, we unfortunately failed pretty hard, and I was quite frustrated really at the game and at the characters really. So decided to take the difficulty down. So now we're just playing on the standard solo difficulty rules, which is +1 difficulty, rather than playing on +2, which I was last time. So we check it here. Just hang on a minute, make sure that's right. Let's reset my there you go. Good job I checked that, because that was actually set at +1 for some reason. So now it's going to go down to that. So it should be a bit easier. Should give us that little bit of breathing room, which is nice. But it's still a difficult scenario for sure. Still difficult, and I don't think this is suddenly going to make it much easier. Did we distill explosive vial? Might be nice to have. Make this room as a precaution. I think I got rid of it, yeah. I mean, we got Frenzy Potion, which kind of achieves a very similar thing, right? I felt like we had a pretty good opener. The only problem is we drew a -1 on the Drifter last time, right? We actually had a really good plan for dealing with everything. And then we drew a -1, which meant that we technically didn't deal damage to these guys. So that meant, okay, it actually triggers. Like, this is the awkward part about this, is that if you attack them and don't do damage, or if you do anything but you don't do damage, that's when it triggers. So unfortunately, drawing a miss can be really hurtful in this, and that's another reason why, like, some of these scenario conditions I've not been a huge fan of, is that sometimes they do feel a little bit more RNG based. But you got to roll with the punches. If we should be able to deal with some amount of RNG, and over the course of the scenario, hopefully it balances out anyway, and that it becomes a pretty equal share. So hopefully we just draw some ×2s and stuff. Drifter has 2 pairs of boots. Oh, you're right. I didn't even notice that. I mean, he's got 2 feet though. I mean, come on. Let's move this down. I was wondering why, like, one had more cards on one side. I was like, I didn't really understand that, but good catch. He does have 2 feet. Okay, let's go for battle goals on the Drifter then. So we have Mugger, Assassin, kill an enemy before it takes its first turn. Ooh, can we? Oh, that's really hard. 10 damage. Collect more loot tokens than any other character. Egoist, that's very simple. We take that one quite often. Kill an enemy and loot the token it drops in the same round. Also something that we can probably do. I think we just go for the Egoist. It's a very simple one. Assassin is something we could maybe attempt. But we'd have to draw... We could attack something for like 5 or 6, but unfortunately for the Drifter, this attack modifier deck is huge. 22. And really, we've only got one way of doing that, which is to draw the crit. And we have no strengthen, so I just feel like it's not going to work. So we'll go for Mugger, but Assassin... If we were against the Snow Imps or something, I'd be all over that. Just the wrong scenario for that one, I think. Sorry, we're going to go for Egoist, not Mugger. Egoist is just a little bit simpler. So for the Deathwalker, we have Pacifist, we have Opener, and we have Shirker. Pacifist, kill 3 or fewer enemies. Opener, kill the first enemy to die. Shirker, kill an enemy not adjacent to you while you are adjacent to another enemy. Something that is possible. I think probably Shirker is probably a fairly good one. Either Shirker or Opener, I think, are probably the 2 I'm leaning towards here. Should we go opener? Yeah, let's go opener. I'm sure that like we have a very good chance of doing that. Because generally speaking, the Drifter is going to take a little bit of time to come online, but we can get online on the Deathwalker on turn 2 and start hitting something for 6 on turn 2. So as long as we do a little bit of damage on turn 1, we'll be kind of off to the races. Okay. So, for those who don't know, the scenario conditions for this scenario are quite interesting. So at the start of each round, we place 1 token on each of the frozen corpse. If the frozen corpse suffers damage, then we remove the token. At the end of each round, each frozen corpse with a token is replaced by an elite Shrike Fiend with no damage or conditions. These Shrike Fiends do not act until the following round. So basically, if we fail to do damage to a living corpse every round while it's alive, or it fails to take damage, then it unfortunately will turn into a Shrike Fiend. Now this happened to us last time and we had 1 Shrike Fiend. Again, because we got unlucky, we drew that -1 and it just happens. So I feel like we've got a very good party here though, to be able to stop that from happening at all, as long as we get, you know, okay RNG and we don't get blown out somewhere. So, and I feel like if we manage to do that, that will give us a massive leg up going into the second room where we haven't really had to deal with that. And hopefully we'll start on a little bit more healthier kind of health. Because last time our health was like pretty low going into the second room. Okay, so the main thing we need to do is we need to do damage to these 2 and this one. And we're going to have to play some kind of target 2. Now last time we did this, I believe I went late and we tried to, on the Drifter, just kind of get in there and do a Fierce Barrage. Ideally here, we want to try and get... ideally here, we want to try and get Wound on things, because Wound will count towards this. Now I could play it quite safe with the Drifter, and I could kind of, I could on the Drifter immediately get us to a position where we can attack 3 things. You know, Draining Arrows is not a card that I would usually use, but target 3 on, you know, an attack 1, pretty good. That buys us a whole round. Now this isn't how I did it last time, but I'm sort of leaning into thinking that would be quite a nice turn. So we could go on early on Shockwave, we could move in and shield, get ourselves to this spot here, and then we could do our attack 1, target 3 things at range 2. We can get all 3 of them. That could work quite nicely. And we've got that shield up. We've got to be a bit careful about taking too much damage. We're going to have to kill things quite quick. But yeah. They have shield 1. That's true. They do have shield 1, so I do have to maybe be a little bit careful. I'd have to draw... Yeah, I guess I'd have to draw plus damage, so maybe that's not such a good move. I did forget about the shield 1. That's a good point. Shield 1 makes that significantly more risky than not. Maybe we don't play that then. Maybe we play... I think last time I did just get the Fierce Barrage out, didn't I? Yeah, I think I tried to go late to see what they were doing to try to avoid them. A little bit of a risky biscuit move. Do they have something where they don't take a turn? I think they might do. Let's go 76. And we'll try and do a Fierce Barrage, and we'll probably use Sustained Momentum as a move 2 if we need to. A little bit, maybe a little bit risky, but I think the chances are that they will move. If they don't move, I can always try and attack one and potentially do something on my Deathwalker to just kind of help out. Like, I'm thinking like Forceful Spirits on my Deathwalker could also just be pretty good here. And we could go quite late with Lingering Rot. We want to ideally set ourselves up for a couple of wounds on some things. Let's see how this does. I think this is safe. Like, in an ideal world, I wouldn't want to play this, I think. But this is a better hedge. Ooh, that's kind of spicy, huh? So what's that? That's 2 in front of them. Right, so number 2 first. Gonna do like 1, 2. So you can get the Deathwalker for 1. So attack the Deathwalker for 1, 2. 1, 2. Then number 4. Yeah, you can't quite get them. Let me make sure that I ambiguously put this where I want it to be, which is here. Which is definitely here. So it's going to attack with disadvantage onto the Drifter. One. And then 1, 2. And that will again, Drifter with disadvantage. Not great that they've managed to use up my disadvantage on the first turn. That's not ideal. No damage. Not really what you're looking for. Should Deathwalker have 12 HP? Level 5 is 10, plus Cloak for 11. Have I added it twice? It's possible that I've added it twice. I just added it on earlier today because I just was like, oh yeah, I always forget to add it on. Where's my board? My board's over here. Okay. Yeah, we should be on 11. Good catch. Ugh. Took 2, right? Okay, that's them over. So now Deathwalker time. So I think what we'll do, my fault if I lose by 1 HP, yeah. So we'll use Deathwalker, we'll move. I'm thinking whether or not it's better for me to do the target 2 here or not. Or is it better for me to just go on my own? It might be better for me to just go on my own here. Instead of using Forceful Spirits as a target 2. No, I think I can still kind of make it work. So we'll go 3 and we'll go here. And we'll poison number 2. We'll poison them up. And then we will use Forceful Spirits top. So we'll attack for 2. We'll have to attack with disadvantage on number 2 first. That's fine. So 2 damage with the poison 3 minus the shield. So 2. And then number 6. Just regular. Plus 1. So that will be 3 with the shield 2. 1, 2. So that's 2 things done damage to, at least. It's okay. Parpa, thank you so much for the follow. Or Parpat. Parpat. Or Parpa TV. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the quest. Hope you're doing well. What's that wound on Deathwalker? Just ate 1 HP. Yeah, the wound is a scenario effect. So, yeah, that was a scenario effect. Then with the Drifter, we'll move 2. And we will use Fierce Barrage to attack. So, number 4. 2. 5. That's good. That was the attack that we missed on last time. So it does actually do some damage, which is nice. And number 6, where if we draw a -1, that's not the end of the world here. +1 again though. So that's good. So 3, 2. All right, good start. Not bad at all. Although I'm a little bit annoyed that I ended up kind of like losing a few bits and bobs there, but that's a pretty good start. So now we just need to kind of continue on, really. So I should, in theory, be able to kill number 2 this turn, I think. With a combination of just Restless Spirits and Call to the Abyss bottom. Should be very simple for me to do that. So we'll go on 20 initiative on the Deathwalker. That should be early enough. We'll go our boots as well if we need it, but that should be good enough to be able to get a kill. We'll probably use our Spyglass for advantage. Drifter then. Drifter, we're going to use a combination of 2 attacks here. So we'll use Bloodletting bottom. And I think I'll probably just use Fortitude top for now. I think we can go on 31 initiative. It's not too bad. That should hopefully do the business. Okay. What have you got? Oh, same again. Maybe a little bit more scary though, because we're going to have, you know, both people clumped together. Same again is not bad, really. It's a very this attack is a very meh attack. Okay, so Deathwalker first. So we will place Shadow within X range 2, which we'll place it underneath ourselves. Goes to the Abyss. Then we'll use Restless Spirits to attack for 3 with Curse. If you're occupying a hex with a shadow, you may remove it to add +3 and gain 1 XP, which we will do. So then we will attack for 6. I will use the Spyglass to gain advantage here. We could just get the opener straight away. Let's hope. So 6 with advantage, and I think he's poisoned as well, right? Yeah. So 7. That would be 8. Yeah, 6. With the poison, 7, +1, 8. Shield is 7. That's a little bit annoying. That shield saves his life. Dang it. Ah, dang it. Marty, thank you so much for the Prime Gaming sub. 6 months. Thank you so much for all of the support over the past 6 months, buddy. Hope you're doing well. The quest continues, my friend. Good to have you back. Well, that's it, really. That's what I'm like, sort of contemplating life. So I guess I'll do the attack 1. I guess it kind of makes sense to just do it on the guy with 8 health here. So we'll attack him for 1 on the Drifter. I don't really care about doing any damage here because the wound will be enough to just stop the condition from triggering. +1. So it's 2 with the shield is 1. So we'll take that. 1 damage with a wound on this guy. Sorry, this guy. Then we will do Fortitude, and we'll attack the other one. So number 6. So it is this one. PS3 +1. Nice. So that's 3 with the Pierce. So 4. So it's just straight 4. Straight up 4. Not bad. Not too shabby at all. All right, that's it. This guy takes his wound damage. So we'd have to work out the positioning here a little bit, because I'm sure there's probably certain ways they can go. So I think number 2 doesn't even need to move, right? Because there's 2 in front, 3 behind. So that's fine. So number 2 is going to attack the Deathwalker for 1. Make that ice again. Then it's going to attack the Drifter for 1. Same situation again here with number 4. And actually, no, number 4 is going to have to move, right? Can I get them both with a move 2? Yes, I think he can. Can it? Yes, it can. 2, 3. So same again. 1 on the Drifter. Nothing. Then on Deathwalker, +1. That's a little bit annoying. Got to be a bit careful with our Deathwalker. We're kind of got that wound. We're on death's door. And then 6 doesn't have to move because it can already get them from there. So Drifter, 2 damage, and Deathwalker, no damage. Okay. So that is their turn over. Goes to next round. So we know that the Deathwalker has to be the one to get the killing blow here. The good news is though, we kill this, then the game becomes significantly easier to just deal with these little ones, right? So I think we go on 13 with the Deathwalker. Actually, maybe I go 36. I'm thinking the Drifter needs to chuck a heal over there. I can get the Drifter to go on 14, and then maybe I can use the boots on the Deathwalker to go on 24. I think that's maybe preferable here. Yeah, I can go on 24. We don't really care about the Bane. So that should give me a health back then because of that wound automatically ticking down. Okay, so the Drifter's going to go first. So first things first is we'll use the bottom of Prudent Preparation. So we'll heal the Deathwalker for 2. Then we'll use Breakthrough. And we will do this on number 6. Because the wound is going to always tick this guy down. So we'll do that on... yeah, we'll do that on number 6. Even though it's a little bit overkill. Probably shouldn't have used that card, but... oh well. So number 6, we're going to attack for 4. 3 has PS, so... Oh no, that kills it, right? Oh no, and then I lose the opener. Well, I guess I lose the opener. Yeah, I guess maybe I shouldn't have done that to take the damage to then let me get the opener. Yeah, I tried to min-max stack for the healing, but actually, for the battle goal, it probably would have been better. Should I reset that and let the Drifter go first? The Deathwalker go first? Yeah, maybe I will. So let's take a point off the Deathwalker. We'll just rewind that slightly. That was the reason why the Deathwalker needed to go first. So, I mean, we'll resolve that anyway, because that kind of will happen. Because that's what we were going to do with our turn. But I will change my health there. Go back to 13. Was it on 13? Sorry, I should have been on 13, not 14. 24, yeah. I should have been on 23 anyway. And then we'll go Fleeting Dusk to place a shadow here. Then I'll use Ritual Sacrifice just to attack number 2 here for 3 plus. Actually, I mean, I could put the shadow there. The idea here was I was like, I could just use the shadow to help kill this. Maybe I'll put it there. So we'll attack for 4. 5, 6. Yeah, definitely dead. Battle goals are sort of just bonus now, though, with retirement looming. Yeah, true, but I could, I mean, I may as well do them if I can, and that was a very easy one to do. I just needed to make sure I didn't change my ordering too much, and, like, it's the kind of battle goal where you just trip yourself up, right? So I don't need the boost of speed. No, you're right. Although I don't think it's going to come into play too much for the rest of this room, but yeah. Okay, so that's all done. That's all done. So this guy's just going to Bane, immobilize the Deathwalker. Deathwalker, the Drifter. Bane, immobilize. Okay. So we're doing pretty well here. This is all good. Yeah, this feels like I can probably just pretty safely set a few things up here now. What I was thinking for this particular scenario was actually to play the move one on the Drifter. Because, like, the distance between us and the tree is really far. Like, this would be a good candidate for the move on the Drifter. Much better first rune than last time, yeah. It helps that the enemy have got 2 less health, I think. 10 to 12. That helps a little bit. Although we did kind of end up overkilling, but we got 2 nice draws from them too. Like that move to attack 1 is a very nice team draw, right? And just not having to deal with the Shrike Fiend. We We pulled what we needed to pull our end, and the enemy didn't really screw us too bad either. There's still time. They could screw us now, I guess, with one big attack, but hopefully that won't be the case. Thinking now might be a good time to just get like something going. Well, maybe not. If I can get the Deathwalker to just kill it, then I can actually take a turn off here on my Drifter, which is kind of neat. Because I'm immobilized and Bane, I may as well just Brittle, sorry. I may as well just like get the easy crushing weight, continuous health play out of the way now. And then that gives me maybe a turn to loot and then a turn to get to the door. And then we long rest. Then I'll probably play like the plus move maybe. Seems pretty good. So we'll do that. We'll take a little turn off. Risky, obviously, when you got Brittle, but we should hopefully be able to dispatch this guy very quickly with Dominate. So we're going to use Black Barrage to move this. I probably shouldn't have put that there. I got kind of greedy. I was like, I don't really need more than an attack 3. And then Dominate. I think. Because now I can't get the loot. Like I kind of wasted half an action. And we have our boots to go 18 if we need it. Oh wow, they drew it again for the 3rd time. Interesting. So we'll move this to here. Then we'll use Dominate. So we'll attack for 6 here. 7 with the shield. He's dead. Boop. And we gain an XP. That goes away. Then Drifter is playing Continuous Health and Crushing Weight. Boop, boop. Nice. Was nice. Very nice. Okay, cool. Great first room. Brilliant first room. Pretty much as good as you could hope for. So now, really, it's just a case of getting to the door and trying to get some loot maybe in the process. It's a little bit awkward on my Deathwalker because... Well, actually, I'm going to probably spend a turn setting up on my Drifter, right? Anyway? Yeah, I think it's okay. I was just thinking like I'm going to be wasting kind of like a bit of movement here. By the way, I didn't put a marker down, but this is where we're going. This is the door. Yeah, that'll do. Plus move is key for this one? Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. I might have to leave one token behind. Do I want to do it like that way? I think I do, actually. Get that one. Maybe not. Maybe I don't need to leave any tokens behind. Maybe we're good. Do I have my loot card? I think I do, right? Oh no, did I get rid of it? When did I get rid of my loot card? Oh, I took it out for this scenario, I think. Yeah. Shame, because it's actually got a big move on the bottom. That'll do. We are literally just doing kind of nothing here. All right, so Drifter, we are literally just moving to. Got nothing else to do. So we'll loot this. +2 lumber. Let's turn over. Drifter will jump back. Please our 2 cards. I think we can get that one. I really want to dig for that item. There's an item in this one. Coin. All right. That is that. So we are long rest here. Drifter's just gonna go boop boop. Loot this one. Actually, I could play Shockwave. Do you think it's worth getting Shockwave up for this scenario or not? Shockwave's an interesting one. Probably not. I think having the shield 1's probably more beneficial. Having a 17 initiative, move 3, shield 1 is probably going to be more valuable, because if the aim of the game is just to kill the tree as fast as possible, I kind of like Shockwave is kind of irrelevant. It's like, oh great, I do 2 damage to like the Shrike Fiends I'm trying to ignore. You know? Feels like it's not really worth doing. It's not bad against the Harrowers though, because they have Retaliate and stuff. But I just don't think it's... Yeah, I think it's fine. I don't think I'm going to play Shockwave. I think move 3, 17 initiative with a shield 1 is gonna play. It's gonna play pretty well when we're trying to fend off Shrike Fiends while we're smacking the nest. Get that random item, hard item to get it, but best to get loot now because next room is a race. Yeah, definitely. So let's draw another card. 2 gold. I mean, gold's gold. We'll take it. So Deathwalker is going to flip that. Gain a little bit of help. Would be nice if we could heal up a little bit more. Perhaps the Drifter can help us there. You know, we're basically still only like 1 tack in range sort of thing. And then in terms of a card to get rid of here. Also, because of the Retaliate, we're going to need to, like, obviously have quite a bit. Thinking, like, maybe if I, like, move in and play Eclipse. No, I want to run in, then play Eclipse. I think I can probably get rid of Forceful Spirits, although teleporting might be quite nice. Let's see if that will get rid of Black Barrage. I think maybe we get rid of Black Barrage, because the range, I mean, it might be nice for me to get like 1 ranged attack off onto the hive on my way in, sort of thing. Let's get rid of Forceful Spirits. Like, when am I really going to be wanting to do an attack target 2? I just think that the teleport is probably the most relevant thing there. Okay, so realistically here, we got a little bit of a weird one in terms of, do I open the door? Because I'm going to long rest with my Drifter, of course, as you always do. Means that I'm going to be like a kind of an awkward amount of turns. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to be able to race in there, you know? I'm going to have to almost waste 2 turns. You just ignore the Harrowers completely for this one, race to the tree and Shadow Smash? Yeah, that's what I would like to do. I'm a bit nervous now because I'm going to have essentially 2 turns here where my Deathwalker is kind of on their own. You know, I could move... immobilize something, maybe? What do we think? Move 4, immobilize something? I only want to play Eclipse when I get to the tree. It's almost like the long rest on the Drifter really hurts me here, because it kind of puts me in a weird, like, turn situation. Deathwalker plus 2 HP for long rest, or did you miss that? I think you missed that, Dusk. I did give it. Yeah. She actually ended up getting beaten up a fair bit with the wound and a couple of attacks that were drew against her. Happy, thanks so much for the follow. Welcome to the quest. Hope you're doing well. Welcome in. Yeah, I don't really know what to do with the Deathwalker here, because the plan would be, okay, let's get to the door, but then I'm going to have 2 turns of doing nothing on the Drifter, really. Because I've got my long rest now, which is going to get me back up to full health. Then I'm going to have the turn where I play the plus move bottom, and the top is not really going to do anything. So then the Deathwalker is kind of like, what do I do for 2 rounds? Why do you do this? Do I literally just chill out? Good long rest to get 2 HP back? It's not a good idea. I got 2 move 4s. I think I maybe just waste a turn here and don't really do anything. Just get to the door. I don't know. So this is a weird one. I'm literally just going to move 2. I'm playing my 2 cards, move 2. I figure that these 2 are ones that I'm probably not going to want to play, at least unless I short rest. Could short rest on the Drifter and use Amulet to get rid of Brittle. Yeah, I really want the crew to height armor back though. And XP from continuous health. I don't necessarily need to play the plus movement, right? I mean, or do I? I kind of do. I mean, I still have like 2 move 4s. I have a move 3. Maybe I'll just take the turn off. I just take the turn off. It's fine. Like, it feels a little bit bad, but it'll be worth it, because when we get there... Like, the weird thing with this scenario is that it's actually a very short scenario if you play it right. You think about how many rounds we had in there. We went pretty much a full rotation, nearly. I think I had an extra spare 2 rounds on my Drifter, 1 round on my Deathwalker. So, like that, this room was a pretty standard room in terms of tempo and speed. Now, this room could be super fast we get to the other side very quickly and we just wail on this thing a couple of times, it could be dead. Like we could, you know, if we burn cards for damage as well and we just don't care and we just go for it, like this could be actually an incredibly short scenario. But of course that's on the basis that we actually managed to get there. So I think I will take a turn off here because I got nothing really to lose by doing that. And I'll probably just waste Fierce Barrage because I can't really think of any situation where I want to attack anything twice. So this means that on the Deathwalker, we just basically gonna want to waste a card. So I need to get rid of a card. Wait for the get rid of that one. Okay. Yeah, so we'll just kind of waste a bit of a turn here. And really all we're going to do is we're just going to play the bottom of Sustained Momentum and nothing on that. Famous last words in Frosthaven, will just, yeah. I mean, at least we've got the knowledge from the last scenario to go off of, huh? You know, that's nice. I'll just make dark on the Deathwalker, which gives me a little bit of breathing room if I want to use potentially Black Barrage top next turn to just attack a Harrower and potentially just immobilize it with the weighted net. Okay, so for the Deathwalker, we're just gonna go bop, bop, make dark. Won't play Call to the Abyss top because we're just gonna be playing Eclipse. And we'll probably be using the bottom to just get even more value off of the ritual. And Drifter, is she just playing this? And Fierce Barrage top is doing nothing. Okay, now we're ready. Yeah, we're all good. Okay, now we're ready. So both characters move 4. Bust it out, and we will see how far we can go. Hopefully the Drifter can, well, with the move 6, we'll kind of catch up quite nicely. And we get the Drifter to open the door. All right. Move 4. And turns into a move 6 plus 1 XP. So 1, 2, 3. I can almost set this up by memory, I think. Right, let me move, I'll have to move this a little bit. We'll shift everything a bit here. Because we can probably get rid of this tile. In fact, I will get rid of this tile. We know that we're 1 hex away, so we'll just judge it that we're 1 hex away. So we're going to spend 1 extra point of movement on the Deathwalker. Just makes it so much easier. Bring this in here. There, like that. We got a bunch of traps that we need to set up. So I won't play the Fortella for this part. For those of you who maybe weren't here last time, essentially we open up to find a nest of Shrike Fiends that we need to take down. This nest is in a tree, and that tree is over here. Is that in the right place? First time? Ooh, first time. So we need to destroy that, basically. And it has retaliate on it as well, so pretty rough. The app doesn't quite work correctly from my memory. We'll go through the scenario rules again, but I'm pretty sure that it does not work quite right. One giant room. The heroes in the next room just be like, where are these guys? Taking forever to get here. It's like, you know, like in movies when, they did it in Star Wars, but they do it in a bunch of movies, right? Where you have like all these people like behind the door, and then you can just hear like behind the door, like screams and like a fight going on, and then it all goes quiet. And all the people like look at each other and then look at the door. It's like when Darth Vader comes through the door and in A New Hope. But sit there going, it's gone really quiet. They're like, it's not good when it goes quiet like that. It gets quiet like that. Yeah. That's when you should be worried. Right, let me just check the other camera angle for a second as it comes in, hopefully. Yeah, that needs to be changed a little bit. Let's change that. Can leave that there for now. Good. You kind of see that? I can push it a little bit more this way. A little bit more space. That doesn't really work very well. I'll swap all of these around so they're the other side. That makes it looks better. It's good that we've got all of our stuff as well now. Haven't used any of our items, which is great. Do. Deathwalker stuff can go along the top. Good thing with the Deathwalkers, we're not really playing any of the actives, so Not going to have any more cards to put up here for sure. See at the top there? Oh yeah, I can probably bring it down a little bit actually. Okay, great. Right, enemies! Drift Harrowers, yay! Everybody's favorite. So what do we got? 2, 4, and 3. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so special rules. The Raven's Nest has 3 times character times level +2 in brackets. Hit points and retaliate X range 10, where X is level +1 divided by 3 rounded up. It is an enemy to you and an ally to all monsters. At the start of each round and each second round after that, spawn 1 Strike Fiend at the Raven's Nest. It is normal for 2 characters, elite for second spawning, for 3 characters, or elite for 4 characters. So it is, so basically it is the start of the next round and each second round after that. So this is where the app gets a bit confused because I think it counts like odds and evens numbers. So we technically don't spawn a Strike Fiend yet. We only spawn the Strike Fiend at the start of the next round, then we need to start counting from there. So we don't need to worry about it quite yet. So we won't click on that spawn. So we've got 3 movement left on our drifter. The safest course of action here, oh, I need to put the chest in. I don't think we got the chest, did we? Did we get the chest last time? Did we get the chest last time? I don't think we did. So we'll we want to take this lower route to ideally go to like around here. I'm missing 1 boulder. Hang on, actually missing 2 boulders. Boulders. Boulder there. So I think we want to get kind of around here. No chest last time, thanks. Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't have any memories of it. So we got 3 more movement. The good news is that the Deathwalker is going next, so the Deathwalker could immobilize this guy. We do have a range 2 though, so I guess it wouldn't matter. So we could just go to here. Then we could maybe immobilize. I don't really like the impair. The impair kind of makes me a little bit nervous. So let's do that, I think. Yeah, and then I was just going to shield and retaliate. Yeah, that makes sense. But I don't think we really need it. Okay, so that's Drifter's turn. So Deathwalker was also 1 away. And so we were going to move 4. Actually, I might need to move my Drifter forward here because otherwise my Deathwalker kind of wastes a lot of movement. I think maybe we just need to go in and suck up a hit. So what do we have? We have 3. 1, 2, 3. And I just immobilize this guy so he doesn't come in and get an extra attack off. We got the shield one anyway. So then I can go 1, 2, 3. I can kind of filter in. Just don't want to waste movement here. I think we can take a 1 hit. Target 2, not range 2. Oh. Oh, okay. That's fine then. Don't know why I thought it was range 2. Okay, well then I can just immobilize this one and we get away with it. So we'll attack for 3. Consuming that dark. So that's 3 damage plus an XP. And number 2. 3. Oh yeah, and I'll use my weighted net here to immobilize. Okay. Done. So the Harrower. Number 2 can't do anything. Number 3 is going to go 1, 2. Number 4 is going to go 1, 2. Raven's Nest, nothing. Next round. Now we spawn. Boom. What? Gloomhaven for some of the only games that made me have to remember Pembas Bodmas in UK? What is that? What does that stand for? Bodmas? Bodmas? Oh, math order of operations. Oh, right. Yeah, like, my maths was not one of my strong points at school. It really was not. Right, how quickly can we get over there? I mean, we can get there. My worry is that if I go too fast, maybe I will end up... I need to be able to tank a little bit. How much health does this thing have? 30. Drifter is going to go in. Did I not use my Eclipse? Where did my Eclipse go? Oh, I used it as a move 4, right? Yeah. Yeah, my worry here is that my Deathwalker is going to get kind of sucked into fighting Harrowers, which isn't particularly great. I might have to like take a bit of a turn off on my Drifter to just sort of hold the fort a little bit. Because I need to shore up a nice path. And maybe I should have used my stamina potion on my Deathwalker. Yeah, maybe. I think maybe I should have. Because then I would have taken Eclipse back. Yeah, I think I'll probably do that. Okay. Yeah, Drifter might just have to kind of not quite go all out yet. Might just have to... chill out for a second. We're definitely on short rests soon, though. Okay. Oh, the pull. That bad for us? Ooh, 6. I mean, I could maybe play into this with the Deathwalker here and get myself pulled. Is that actually helpful? If I was to go earlier and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Nah, I'm too far out. Oh, I'm 1 away. Oh, that sucks. Because then I'm going to be, absolutely, I'm going to be targeted. I might have to, on the Drifter, just walk forward. Quite honestly. It's not what I wanted to do. But if I get pulled, then suddenly these guys are going to be like, hey! Oh, actually, maybe not. Maybe I'll just get attacked by 1. But it's to do with the retaliate damage that I'm going to be taking. I need to have enough health on my Deathwalker to be able to go attack, 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 right? I need like 6 to be able to go 2, 4, 6. What are the first 2 words for the UK? Brackets and... was it Bodmas? Brackets, operations, digits, maths, and sum. Pretty sure that's what it stands for. Doing good this time? Yeah. Not too bad. Hang on, not too bad. Still got a little bit of a tricky couple of turns to navigate here, but not doing too bad. I think I got one of those right. Hang on, I'm from the UK, all right? I know exactly how it's supposed to be, all right? What I say is right. You guys can't tell me because you're not from the UK, all right? I think I should know. Hey, Garrett. Yeah, it might be better to just move here. Although having said that, if I'm pool 2, yeah, I'm just going to get in a bad place, I think. This pool 2 is really not, like, you'd think the pool 2 would be great. Is there any way that I can get in range? I could go onto the trap. I could go onto the trap with the Deathwalker, burn a card. How much damage is the trap? 5. But then I still get attacked for another attack 1 as well, which is not like, it's not the biggest amount, but... feels like a very crucial turn here on how to like work my way through this. I could just buy myself one turn. Maybe that's what I do. I honestly just move here and I sit and I don't really do anything else because I don't even think I care about the Harrowers at all. I think I'm just going to forget about them, quite honestly. So I just move forward and shield one. Yeah, I think that's what I do. That's a lot of words, mind it, ain't? That's a lot of words. Have fun, time to work out. Enjoy your workout, Kira. I'm gonna look at joining my local gym this week. Now that my knee is starting to feel a bit better, they've kind of given me the green light to be able to start doing some exercises again. So, want to get myself back in the gym. This tree spawns Strike Fiends, Oozing Grove spawns Oozes. What is it with trees in Havenland? This is a good point. They are starting to get a bit of a reputation. Perhaps trees are the real villain. Is it really an anti-environmental game? See ya, Gio. Thanks for stopping by again, buddy. Good to see you again. Isaac fell out of a tree as a kid and now fears them, yeah. Copy and paste from Google, someone has to keep you honest. Fake news. It's Google's agenda. Okay. Yeah, I think we just wait a turn. Otherwise, I just really get hurt a lot. I'm still going to end up getting hurt a little bit. I am still going to get hurt a little bit. What if I was to move here? Then this one's gonna... Yeah, then they're all just gonna converge there. I go... No, because then I'm gonna get attacked by this. I guess there's no way to not get attacked here, huh? Yeah, I guess there's no way to just not get attacked on the Deathwalker. It kind of is what it is, really. Unless... Oh, hang on. On the Deathwalker, I could... increase my initiative by 10. How does that work? 2 would go... here. 4 would go... there? Actually, would 4 even move? This is an interesting situation. It can do its attack already, but it wouldn't be its focus. So I guess it would go for the Drifter still. I think this works. I think I have to increase my initiative by 10. This is so awkward. But I think this works. Okay, that literally all we're doing is moving and shielding ourselves for 1 on our Drifter. That's all we're doing. We're not doing anything else. There's no point. The objective is to destroy the tree? Yeah, it is, yeah. The Raven's Nest. So that's Drifter done. Shrike Fiend can't do anything. So now we go to the Harrowers. So number 2 is going to go first. It's going to go here and it's going to attack the Drifter for 3 with disadvantage. Oh, wrong fucking attack modifier deck. So disadvantage and with the shield. So 2 with shield 1. So 1 damage to the Drifter. Let me fix this a second. Just forget that we have a +0, okay? And did that even hit it? Yeah. Of course it did. Okay. Then number 3 is going to go. Again, it's just going to attack him for 3 with disadvantage. Get rid of our crude hide armor. Almost did it again for the second time. -1 with the shield, so 1. Then number 4 is going to go, and it's going to move there, I think. This is one of those like really weird ones where it can technically make its attack where it is, but its focus would be the Drifter, and it would move, and it has the movement to move. It's a little bit of an odd one, but I believe it would still move. So it's going to attack the Drifter, nothing else in play, so just 1 card flip, -1. So with the shield, so 1 damage again. Drifter did well there. Dodged a bunch of damage. Then they're healing themselves. Oh no, there's no dark. Okay, we're good. Right, Deathwalker. So all of that was just some very elaborate plan to try and get the Deathwalker to sneak around the site. Move 4. We did it! Sneak! Make dark. Then we'll play Eclipse. Bernie. Okay, next round. Did you use a stamina potion? No. Maybe. No, I'm okay, actually. Yeah, I think we're okay. Maybe stamina potion next turn. $27 on the Drifter. We'll jump over. So we'll use Vile Assault to jump over. Because we can do a move 4, heal 4. Then we'll use Breakthrough and we'll start getting the beat down. And we'll probably get Vile Assault back to then just use that next turn. I think we can probably win in 2 turns here, depending on how well we draw. Time to nuke that. Yeah, we are getting there for sure. Do. Kind of wish I had a little bit more move. I've got to be a little bit careful with these shadows, though. I could maybe short rest on my Deathwalker this round. Because I'm going to have to short rest at some point. I'm just thinking, like, I'd love to use a couple of ritual sacrifices, you know? Yeah, I think I'm going to short rest. Who's going to get the chairs? Probably the Deathwalker, I think. Deathwalker will be the one who's best placed to do it. Most likely. Maybe not, but the Drifter will have probably like 1 or 2 charges left on his move. So we can always maybe just shoot over there. I have yet to use the wing shoes, but I'm about to. So short rest. Let's get rid of Black Barrage. Perfect. Okay. So now I think we teleport over there. And we gain a nice ritual sacrifice. Bit worried about me breaking the tiebreaker here. That's okay, I should be alright. The main thing I'm worried about is these Shrike Fiends is the multi-target stuff, you know? The multi-target stuff is pretty brutal. Ew, immobilizing my Drifter's not cool, man. That's really not cool.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Skotos, thank you so much. 8 months now. Thanks so much for the resub. Using your Amazon Prime here, your Bezos bucks. Appreciate it, my man. Hope you're doing well. The quest continues, my friend. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Yeah, this is pretty brutal, actually. Getting immobilized on my Drifter is pretty much the worst thing that could possibly happen. And it's an attack 5, and I have nothing up. So, like, this is very scary. Very, very scary indeed. Plus, it means that my Deathwalker is no longer safe. Whereas my Deathwalker would have been safe from potentially the Shrike Fiend, is now no longer safe. So we're going to be burning. So this has suddenly gotten very, very nasty. This is possibly the worst draw we could have possibly gotten out of both of these enemies at this point in time. Because there's nothing I could do about it on my Drifter, like nothing. I got nothing. I am taking 2 hits of 4 and learning to love it, I guess. I can't move. My Retaliate sucks. Why would I ever do that? Yeah, this is pretty brutal. This is a way that we could lose. Like, I was feeling pretty confident about this, but this is a way that we could lose. I guess I'm just gonna have to burn cards to damage. I've only got 1 card in my hand on my Drifter. I mean, my Drifter should hopefully be okay. If they draw a ×2, though. So anyway, Deathwalker's going first. There's nothing I can really do about it. We were going to teleport over here. I guess I'm just burning cards for the sake of it now, huh? Then we are going to use the I think we're going to use the muscle potion to give ourselves strengthen over the next couple of rounds. So we'll get ourselves strengthen. And then we're going to use ritual sacrifice. So it's 3 plus 3, so it's 6. So it's acting for 6 with strengthen on the tree. Six. It begins. We take 2 retaliate damage. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else I can do. That really sucked that draw too, huh? Not a crit, damn. Yeah, one crit here could swing it massively. Okay, so number 2 is going to attack for 5 onto the Drifter. So 5, 6. We can heal for quite a lot this round, so could be worse. And then number 3, 6. I think I probably just burn a card for that. I'm going to heal up 4. I'm going to heal up like 7 this round. Yeah. We just burn a card for that. I think we want to stay in a reasonable place here. And of course we are immobilized. Big yikes. So Drifter's turn, can't do anything apart from heal 2, which would actually be a heal 4. We'll use the amulet as well. So we'll heal up for 7 and gain 1 XP. You know, we're back up to a decent amount of health. We've got a bunch of cards, so it's not like the end of the world. But it really does kind of put a dampener on everything. I suppose I could attack this guy for 6 with the long spear, with the crude spear, sorry. Is it worth me attacking number 4 for 6 here? For 1 charge of crushing weight? Probably is. Because he's going to be the one that can maybe attack me. Let's do that. You never know, we might draw something good. Oh no, we know it's a +0. Well, we get an XP. Oop. Number 4. Guess just kill 2. No, I think... Yeah, I guess I could have, but I would have taken the Retaliate. I can't afford to take the Retaliate 4, really. I'd rather just maybe have a pop at him and... Right, well, this is the really scary bit, though. Did not want this guy getting messed up with my Deathwalker. So that's 5... which would kill him, so we've got to burn a card. We're spawning another Shrike Fiend next round too. Alright, I'll get rid of Fleeting Dusk. I think it's just not going to be great for this particular scenario, I don't think. We just want all of our high value single targets, really. Glad that didn't yeet number 2. Yeah, then it would have felt bad. Then push 2. The push 2 is really annoying too, because it just gets us away from them. Okay, well that was a terrible, terrible round. Like, that was awful. Well, you know, we had such a grand plan for that round, where we would probably have the Raven's Nest down to like below 20, and we'd probably be feeling pretty good. Like, right, below 20, here we go. And now we get a new Shrike Fiend. is going to come in. And this guy's going to be bothering our Deathwalker this whole time. So short rest on the Drifter. Renew on Drifter. Yeah. We'll use the renewing potion probably on our turn this round, depending on if we need to get back maybe the armor or the spear. Now I guess we get the potential to see what happens. Pray for the 1 damage pull. Yeah, I mean that would be not bad. Actually, I think I start him here, right? Because of the stupid range 6 thing. I don't accidentally be pulled into a trap. Breakthrough. I mean, it's a very strong attack, but I think we can we got other very strong attacks, so. It's our strongest attack, but also, you know, we need to keep our heals here, most likely, to heal ourselves through the retaliate. Okay. So what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? So, I mean, I can attack for 6 again. I think that's what we do. We'll use Dominate as an attack 6. Then we use Call to the Abyss to replenish the shadow. Honestly, we just need to go super early again and try and get over. Like, that's all I need. Shockwave Fortitude, let's go. All right, come on then. What have you got for me? All right, good. That, you could do that as much as you want, Mr. and Mrs. Harrows. Mr. and Mrs. Bugs. You can do whatever you want. Shield 2, Retaliate 4, Range 4, brilliant. I'm not getting involved in us at all. We aren't immobilized anymore. Should have fallen off last round. So Drifter can now move for 5, gain an XP. Use the winged shoes. Now, where do we want to be? That is the pull 2. All enemies suffer 2 damage within range 5. Guess it's just there then, huh? Sure, just stay there. Then we will attack with Fortitude for 3 with Crushing Weight 5 on the Raven's Nest. The 5, 6 to the Raven's Nest. 6, we take 2 Retaliate. Then I think we will use the Renewing Potion, which allows us to refresh up to 2 of our spent items. We will refresh the armor, and I think probably the Amulet of Life, I think. We're probably not going to use these 2 items ever again. I think what we might want to do is we could use Frenzy Potion here. So just attack again for another 4. It just feels like we may as well. Time to Frenzy Potion? Yeah, I think so. Like, we may as well, right? We know we're gonna want to use it on the tree. So let's use Frenzy Potion. So we'll now get an XP and attack for 4. 5, 6. Okay. Not too shabby. So it is pretty low.
No, that's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. So we just need to draw our ×2 now, right? On our Deathwalker and we win. Easy. So that's that. 4, 2, 3. Do I want to stamina potion something back? I guess I'll stamina potion back the shockwave. Oh no, I can't because it's in play right now. No, so then no. Probably not. Do I want to heal? I mean, I guess. Heal for 3? Sure, why not? No reason not to, right? Guess we could get poisoned or something? I don't think we can. The Harrows have poison? In that case, we should heal, because we don't want the poison to block our extra heals. If I create the tree now on Deathwalker, no chest. It's true. But it kind of is what it is, really. I'm kind of ready to see the scenario off. So yeah, we'll use Dominate. We'll attack from here. So that's going to attack for 6 with advantage. Seven. Retaliate 2 and 1 XP. Okay, so these guys are going to go. So it's a bit weird, right? It's going to go. And then we're going to take 2. Deathwalker. I guess we're burning a card either way here, really. Oh, sorry. My other turn was to replenish this. I forgot that. I didn't play the bottom action. Okay. So that's all done. Yeah, we'll just burn a card. It's going to be a little bit difficult to get that chest, huh? How am I going to get up there? Move 5 only... Maybe I should have refreshed my boots. Would have been the smart thing with the renewing potion. That would have been the clever thing to do. Because now I can't do it like this round. Because like this round, I'd love to kill the Raven's Nest. But if I do, then I kind of miss out on the chest, huh? Right, burn a damage there. Then this guy's gonna go and he's gonna get us both as well, but I don't think he can pull us, right? Yeah. Can't pull us. Yeah, smart thing to do that would have been to refresh my wing shoes. The other fiend can't damage my Deathwalker? What was the range? I thought it was like 5. I thought it was like some crazy long range. I just assumed he could. Yeah, 5. Yeah, he can reach. It's range 5 for pull. Oh, you're right. Oh, that's nice. So how do we get this? How do we get this chest now? We kind of don't. That sucks, doesn't it? Anyway, I can get it. Oh, I can get it with a move 4 on my drifter. No, I can still get it. We're good. I can still get it. It's still good. We got the move 4, baby. We can do it. All right, Harrow is behaving. Thank you very much. Not doing anything. Deathwalker time. So we'll use Fluid Knight. So we'll attack from here. Great Dark, get 1 XP. I'll use my Spyglass here to get advantage. So we're going to be attacking with 5 with advantage on the Raven's Nest. Dead. I mean, I don't think it gets destroyed like that. I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it does. It's destroyed. I guess it is blown up. Can you just run through it now? We just run through it. Did I give myself the XP? I think I did. Then we'll use Restless Spirit to just run. Yeah, get out of here. We'll just run a shadow through this guy to gain an XP. And he takes number 3. 2 damage, 3 damage. Trees definitely evaporate when cut down. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you've played like every video game survival game, right? Pretty sure once you chop it down, it just disappears, right? It just turns into planks of wood. So that's like how real life works, right? Speaking of which, has anyone been looking at Sons of the Forest? I've been looking at like some streamers that I enjoy watching and some YouTubers and stuff. Seems like people are having a lot of fun with that game. Looks like really... I didn't really get on with the forest that much. Like I found it fun for like an afternoon. But the game gets really boring on your own. Like I was playing the forest and after I kind of built the few initial buildings and things, and at that point in time I kind of like just didn't really feel inclined to play it again. But Sons of the Forest looks really fun. But maybe again, that's a lot of people playing multiplayer. It's like a fun time to run around and explore it with other people. Okay, drifting time. We will move for 6. Bam. And we'll use Vile Assault. Bam, bam, to gain us an XP. And we're going to attack for 4 and 4. Well, 4 and a poison and then 5. Kill that Strike Fiend. Okay, so 5 and a poison. Oh, they're immune to poison, right? I forgot about that. It's been so long since I attacked one. No! God damn it. All I wanted to do was kill a Strike Fiend at the end. That one's going to come back to haunt me. Rip. Yeah. I mean, they couldn't just cooperate for this one time. They're like, yeah, we'll let you win the scenario, but we're not going to cooperate. Redo scenario. That's it, it's over. Okay, what was that chest number? 67. Anything cool? Come on, something cool. Give me something cool. Unlock a random side scenario. Oh, okay. Like, I'm down for that. More side scenarios is good, especially if we're going for retirement and stuff.
Nice.
You know, that just gives me another scenario to do another time. I'm okay with that. Random side scenario. Now, where be those? Here. If this game used the Nemesis system from Shadows of Mordor, yeah. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. It's gonna come back stronger. All right, we got 81.1. 81.1. It's in the section book, right? I think. Let's get Foreteller up, shall we? Can't see it. Boop. It is a... Looks like a piece of rock. It's got runes in it. Looks like it might be like part of an archway or something if I was gambling there. Anyone else triggered by the nest still having 5 HP? There you go. Give it all, give it everything. $81.1. I think it's going to be in here. Yes, it is. Okay, story time.
You lift the massive chunk of stone to inspect it and note its specific wedge-like shape and smooth edges. This stone has a purpose, you realize. It is a keystone, the top of an archway, the stone on which all other stones depend for support.
I was right.
And somehow, though you're not sure why, you know where it goes. Or rather, what you need to do to get there. As you meditate on it, a path forms in your mind. Instructions which, if you were to follow them, would lead you to the archway that is waiting for this stone.
Ooh, new scenario unlocked. Guardian's Temple, 110. Ta-da! Ta-da! Ooh. Ooh. Oh, we need climbing gear. We got climbing gear. And there's also unlocked by a random scenario. Yeah. There you go. Gotta be climbing up to that Guardian's Temple. Cool. So the enemies do stuff, right? We still have enemies. They're going to attack my drifter. Yeah, takes some level of damage. Attacks my Deathwalker. Burn 2 cards from my discard. Sure. End of round. There we go. I think we did a pretty good job. How many... I mean, we didn't get much loot, though. I guess that was the thing. We didn't really get much loot. Maybe a slight missed opportunity. I think we did our battle goals, though. So before I hit success on anything, let's listen to the conclusion. 59.1. Do.
The creatures are done. Their humanoid hosts lie slain. Their tree has been felled, and finally, the forest is quiet. You take some time to check the area for any explanation as to what these creatures were, or why they inhabited this place. But like so many other things in this part of the world, its mysteries remain unspoiled. One thing is certain, however. This clearing is the warmest part of the forest you've encountered so far. It is practically balmy, and you can feel even more heat radiating from the west. Looking to the edge of the clearing, you see a great swarm of glowing orbs have gathered there. They seem to be waiting, wondering perhaps whether it's safe to venture inward toward the heat. But that is a mystery for the scientists and researchers. Your business is the blade, and your business here is done. Satisfied with your handiwork, you turn and begin the long hike back to Frosthaven, wondering how exactly you'll make a report of this to Sather.
Ooh, okay. Rewards. Gain Feathered Cloak, number 69 blueprint. Gain Into the Forest campaign sticker. Hooray! Into the Forest, way! It's been a long time coming, everybody. Finally! So let's have a look at this cloak, shall we? 69. I hope this is something cool. I'm kind of like really want a new item to craft. Okay, this is all right. This is kind of funky. Okay, Feather Cloak. When you suffer damage from an attack, consume air to gain 3 shield for the attack. That's like really, really good. But it's also like you have to have, it's like if you have the wind, right? If you have the air. I mean, neither of our characters really has air. So that's a bit odd, but I'm sure there'll be a character that will work this really good. Really specific as well. Yeah, but I'm sure there's a character who can use this. What do we need then? I mean, I'm gonna I'm going to assume that number 3 is the Traveler's Cloak. Nailed it. And that 233 is the Raven. Nailed it. So it's the Raven and the Cloak. Which thematically makes sense. I was like, what makes sense out of the items that we have? Is there a character who could really use this in a good way? Not one. I'm thinking out of the starters. Geminate? Geminate makes air, right? Is this like a Geminate specific item? Or maybe like an unlockable maybe as well, but from the starters, is this more of a Geminate type of thing? Banner Spear makes air? It's an interesting one though, because I always feel like if you're playing a tanking character, it's better off to have an item like crude hide armor that maybe gives you like two opportunities. I think it's like crude hide armor. This is obviously worse than this, but like having the ability to have like 2 charges and there's no other condition on it, like, oh yeah, you need something else as well. Like this is pretty specific. Like you have to be damaged from the attack. You have to have air, then you gain shield 3. So like it could trigger on in weird times. Well, I guess you get to choose when you want to trigger it. But it's, yeah, like I think you would, if you were playing like a Banner Spear, I would think there's something more like a Chainmail would be better because it's more consistent and reliable, has a couple of charges. Like you don't really want to like stop one attack in its tracks. Whereas if you're playing, I don't know, something like a Geminate or something like maybe a bit more of a melee attacking character, perhaps this could work really well. What does the Blink Blade? No, Blink Blade doesn't have any elemental affinities, right? Because like I could see a character like the Blink Blade using something like this, or the Geminate, as like I said, because to me it's like, yeah, you're probably going to end up getting attacked like once per rest cycle. Like you're not always going to be safe. You're going to be able to hopefully keep yourself safe a good amount of the time, but not always. Big Blade can create a few, but doesn't use. Okay. So I feel like this item could be a really fun item for a character like that. Just to give you that little bit of security. And it doesn't come with any negative conditions as well, so you don't have to worry about having that perk, which is kind of cool. I like this item. Like, this is the kind of item that for me is like a build around type item, where I'm like, ooh, like I want to find a character who could use it and in what capacity I could use it. You know, it's an interesting item. Since this doesn't have negative item effects, I think it's more for characters that occasionally might get attacked, but not for tanks. Yes, yeah, that's my feeling on it too. I feel like you want, if you're playing a tank, you want an item that can give you multiple charges without any massive drawback or condition on it triggering. You want just something reliable that you can, you know, use so many charges of, get back with a long rest, and then go again. Whereas this is very much like a, okay, I've overextended, I'm in a bit of trouble. You know, this will allow you to do that one turn of tank, which can come in a lot, you know, it can come in good use because, you know, even tanks need to turn off occasionally. So just give you a little bit more flexibility, for sure. Probably pretty good at 2-player too, actually, because less enemies. Are you correct that you have to have item 233 unlocked before you're allowed to craft this? Before you can craft it, yes. So you need both of these items. But you got 233 as a reward from... so you got this as a reward from the previous mission, was it? Was it actually a scenario reward, or was it a... I can't remember if it was a scenario reward or in a chest. But, yeah. So, like, that's pretty easy. I mean, this costs 30 gold as well. So in theory, if you were looking at it from like the perspective of, okay, a new character joins the scene, this would have to go back into the available purchasable items. So it's going to cost you quite a bit. It's going to cost you 30 gold plus the traveling cloak, which is 1 hide. You know, that's a cost of 2 gold. So 32 gold to basically make the feathered cloak on a new character, which is, you know, that's not necessarily cheap. And, you know, you'd have to buy the Dead Raven probably when you made your character, because otherwise you're going to be waiting for the traveling shop, unless we maybe... I'm going to assume that at some point a shop comes to Frosthaven and we can always buy from the shop. I'm going to presume that somewhere along the line this traveling merchant sets up an actual shop and we will be able to buy whenever we want. I'm going to assume that, because it seems like that would probably happen. But at this point in time, we don't have anything like that. So we can only buy items when the traveling merchant event comes along, or we create a new character. So the option is limited. The options are more limited. So that's cool though. That goes into the craftable supply. I think I'll probably craft that. If I get a character that uses that too, this is probably the coolest item we've come across so far, I would say. Apart from maybe some of the potions. Like, I like Frenzy Potion a lot. Renewing Potion's pretty cool. I think in general, the potions in Frosthaven has been better. But the items so far, I guess probably because they're trying to build up, have been pretty vanilla. They've been like, you know, kind of worse versions of items that we're already used to using from Gloomhaven. So they're obviously working us up. So hopefully now this is a good sign of like things to come. We start getting some really fun different items to use. Because I'll say like most of the other items have been pretty, you know, run-of-the-mill, pretty boring. But it's kind of understandable because they can't give you good stuff straight away. So it's not like that's a real downside in the game. It's just, you know, you gotta progress. Just build a raven's nest in Frosthaven and kill them periodically. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that actually happens. You know, I've been playing a lot of Hogwarts Legacy, and you know, in that game, it's a pretty similar thing. You know, you harvest your herbs, your mandrakes, and things like that. I don't know, it's kind of like, I'm kind of digging that at the moment. Right, so before we move on to doing our Outpost phase, let's just do a little bit of cleaning up. Let's do a bit of admin, because let's make sure that we accurately add all of our stats to our spreadsheet. You bet there'll be a branching upgrade pass for the items that make them more special, like the Raven Cloak. That would be cool. I feel like items was something that they really could, you know, they really needed to address in this game, because items for me have basically kind of become very, like there are certain items that I will always use on every character, and I've never really seen many items that have been like, hey, this item makes me want to play my character in a completely different way. There's very few items like that. There was a couple in Gloomhaven. You know, you've got like the balanced blades and things like that, but they're a little bit more boring. But, you know, that kind of level where you get an item and you go, whoa, this item actually completely changes the way I might even want to try playing my character. You know, that I think is cool. So 1, 2, 6. We're probably 2 scenarios away, maybe? No, probably a bit more than that. What are we, 24 XP away? We're probably 3 scenarios away from leveling the, from completing the personal quest on Deathwalker now. So now we can do success. Yay. So we got a tick on both of our characters, which is nice. That does get us another perk, I think. Probably replace 1+0 with 1+1 curse card, huh? I mean, the one where it's this bottom one's kind of interesting. While you're occupying a hex with a shadow, all attacks targeting you gain disadvantage. It's kind of interesting. But I just feel like I consume shadows too readily. Gonna be a lot of retirement rules soon. What with the inspiration systems? Yeah, I've basically just been saving all my inspiration to do that. Death Organ catch up with a solo scenario. Yeah, that's a good idea. I would like to do a solo scenario for both of these. I haven't actually looked at them. But I'm assuming that they're pretty good, or at least the items are pretty good. Let's just go for the increased damage stuff. Simple, isn't it? Really? So we are now on 256 total. We've got a bit of lumber. That was it. Drifter. 273. $66 gold. We got a check mark, but we are still pretty far off. What do we get? We got 2 lumber, 1 wood, and 5 hide. Yeah, all good. Okay. Campaign sheet. Give ourselves our 2 inspiration. Into the forest. And I mean, that was it, right? We just need to put that sticker. That's it. There's a rolling disarm perk though. Yeah, I suppose we could maybe go for something like that. I'm pretty happy with that though. I wouldn't mind trying to do a mastery by the end, but I'm not sure if we'll be able to. Ooh, emergency. I need to free up some space on my hard drive a second. I've just... OBS is like flashing at me saying, uh-oh. You will be... My recording will be force stopped in a minute if I'm not careful. Let me just delete all of that. That should free us up. There you go. Okay. Whew, we're good. Let's get rid of all of this and let's do ourselves an outpost phase. I don't know what happens after the Sacred Soil mission. I don't know if we just retire or... I have no clue. Or if we got another mission after that, we can maybe take a look at the flow chart and see what happens. I felt like that scenario was a lot easier the second time round on the slightly lower difficulty, huh? I think so far my findings with the difficulty has been that it's very fine margins. Like Gloomhaven, maybe not so much, but also I feel like the jump there between those two levels felt a bit uncomfortable. Like that scenario was, there was a few moments in it still. It was like we were comfortably winning it, but there were a few moments where we were like, uh-oh, we need to kind of figure this out. We did have to, like, you know, switch our brain on and actually work out a few small things on a couple of rounds. Like there was about 2, I would say, key rounds in that, 2 or 3 key rounds in that scenario where if we didn't play it right, we would have been in trouble. It also goes to say that if the Harrowers didn't draw that early attack immobilize on the Drifter, it probably would have been over way earlier. So it would have looked even more comfortable. So the Harrowers did manage to kind of put up a bit of a fight, or at least enough to make it look like a fight. In general, that was fairly straightforward. Deathwalker almost retire. We are 24 XP away from retiring the Deathwalker right now. Which is pretty good, I have to say. Okay. Boom. Let me turn that off. We'll turn the script off because we won't need the script anymore. I really wish I could hit a button to just pause the script, but I have to delete it and redo it every time. OBS, learn how to remember scripts. So where's this sticker? Into the forest. Into the forest. I put it down here with bug in a jar. Nice. That's it, really. Now we just need to go to Outpost Phase. So... does Jifta have to retire upon completing his quest? Yes. It's true for every character, right? Every character must retire, like, when you finish your retirement. Like, you know, the thing is, you could just not do it. Like, if you were ever in that position, you could just be like, I don't want to do it, right? So in terms of if we're thinking, like, we want to sync up our 2 characters, I think we can get pretty close to syncing them up. We might not get perfect syncing up. Boardgame Bree, hello, how are you doing? Scenario can go sideways so fast if you miss an attack first room. Early fiends just wreck you. Yeah, it's I mean, like, I said this before about difficulty in Frosthaven. For me, it's been like, maybe it's just a party and I'm playing 2-player. Because this is really, apart from Crimson Scales, my first real experience of playing on, like, 2-player naturally. Maybe it's just that 2-player is amplified a bit more in Frosthaven compared to the other games. Because Crimson Scales didn't really feel like that way, but you can't really, like, it's hard to lump Crimson Scales into the conversation because it's a fan-made expansion. So, like, it isn't the balance that perhaps Isaac wants, or you know, it's mimicking the balance of Gloomhaven. It's using a lot of the learnings from Gloomhaven, also some of the learnings from Frosthaven, because there was, you know, some of the I think some other people had play tested Frosthaven, and there was some level of a little bit of kind of convergence there, but not massively, but there was some level there. So it's always hard to lump in Crimson Scales and compare things to it, because ultimately you know that, well, the balance in that game was balanced by the fans, balanced by Motti and BG. So like it's not necessarily something that you can really compare to. But that was how I felt. Like I felt like in Crimson Scales felt a lot more like Gloomhaven in terms of like the balance level was fairly easy to predict. Like you could pretty reliably go, here's my difficulty, I'm really happy on this level, and just play it all the way through on that difficulty. Frosthaven has definitely felt like, oh, these scenarios here, you probably want to move down a difficulty unless you're playing certain party comps and certain characters who may be a bit more stronger in certain situations. But yeah, it has felt so far like we'll go one scenario, it'd be an absolute breeze, and then we'll go to another scenario and it will just be like the hardest thing ever on exactly the same difficulty. And I think, yeah, that could just be my party. It could just be, an observation from Frosthaven, where because the scenarios have been more complicated in general, like we're not having as many just go out and kill stuff. We're having lots of different things. There always seems to be a scenario effect in play. Something is going on. Because of that, then perhaps there's much more playing to different character strengths going on than usual. Whereas, if you're a character who's good at killing things, you're generally going to be good pretty much every scenario. Whereas there are some here where it's like, actually, you being really good at killing monsters is not always the best thing. Or it's good, of course, it's always going to be good, but you've got different objectives or different enemies or stuff like that. You're good, thanks for that. Well, welcome, Bree, good to have you here. Hopefully the Drifter can get his 2 missing XP for his level up in the Outpost event. It could happen, Anything can happen. So I'm just going to check my tracker to make sure that I haven't got my campaign sheet tracker, make sure I haven't got anything written down for this box. I have 21.4 written down for this box. I don't know if that's right. I think that's a misprint on this sheet, I think, because that's supposed to be on the previous one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I think that's just a misprint. So I don't think that there's anything on this sheet. More winter event, yeah. We do have another winter event though. Winter Outpost event. Oh God. It's our favorite friend again. Oh, you know who it is. It's our favorite Frosthaven resident. Back at it again. Winter Outpost event number 10. Let me just find it in the Fortella.
You step down into the crater, Frosthaven's burned-out drinking spot, for an evening's relaxation. Hopes of a quiet evening are ruined by Zane, a local who is always temporarily down on his luck, walking off dejected from one of the tables. As soon as he spots you, he brightens up and straightens himself out.
Hey, friends! Just the folks I was looking to see. This is perfect timing. Incredible timing. I've got something you're gonna want to hear.
You doubt it, but Zane nods emphatically.
I've got a new business opportunity. I worked it out with a friend of mine. This is real hush-hush. But lurkers are apparently crazy about polar bear meat. I've got a supply chain lined up like you wouldn't believe. Cash goes to the Algox, they get me the bear meat, then I sell those juicy steaks to the lurkers for valuable trinkets from the ocean floor.
He pauses to let the brilliance sink in.
So, the problem is, I need to front load a bit of the funding here. The more money, the more stakes. I'm guaranteeing massive returns on your investment. What do you say?
Option A. Support Zane and invest in the scheme. Option B. Try to convince Zane to make you a partner without a monetary investment.
Okay, the poll is up. Which option are we going for? Option A or option B? Option A was to support Zane and invest in the scheme. Option B is to try to convince Zane to make us a partner without a monetary investment. Vote carefully, everybody. Ooh, did someone say steak? Yeah, I thought like they were being clever here because isn't it polar bear steaks and steak? Yeah. He didn't even, I don't think he even... Yeah, they didn't even make the pun. They didn't even make the obvious pun. I feel let down. That's very meta considering this is a Kickstarter game. I mean, is that what Isaac did with the money? Is this what he did with the money? No poll on mobile? Oh no. Well, it's option A, just about. That's so strange. I thought polls worked on mobile. Maybe not. Maybe only in the official Twitch app. Maybe, but maybe not on that either. I don't know. All right, well, it's option A. These are voted. Support Zane and invest in the scheme. Okay. So, we can lose 25 collective gold, or we can lose 15 collective gold. Now, we can do either or. I guess I do another poll. So now we're on to like how much we're going to invest. Okay? New poll. Invest in Zane. So are we going to invest 25 collective gold or 15 gold? All right, polls up. And there are potentially 4 different calendar events we could add here. 4 different calendar events. So the poll is up again. Are we going to invest 25 gold or 15? And then there are 4 different calendar events, 2 for each one. So this is pretty crazy. Go big or go home. I mean, we've got the gold, okay? So we can afford it, but should we? Is more of the point. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. Okay, you guys think we should. Okay, 25 gold. Right. Well, the next thing to do is I got to do another poll. It's like the polls upon polls. Right. Add to calendar. Now, no cheating here. I mean, anybody who don't cheat. All right? I know you guys are pretty good, so you probably won't cheat. But there are 2 different calendar numbers, okay? I've added them. Are we adding 68.1 to the calendar, or are we adding 131.1 to the calendar in 1 week? Yeah, this is a quick return on investment. Zane's getting all this done in a week. I'm quite impressed. I'm going to retire anyway, so we may as well just indulge Zane. So I have no idea which of these would be good. No idea. Presumably this is literally the gamble, so Probably one of these is lose and one of them's win, maybe. Or a different level of win. I can't imagine them being like 25 gold is quite a lot. If you were to lose all of it, that'd be really harsh, but need to go big. Are you just thinking big number equals more money? Yes, that's definitely what everybody has thought. Big number equals more money. So 131.1 gets added to the calendar in 1 week. Okay, let's see what he gets up to. Point 1. Okay. All right. This will be interesting. Okay, so that is our event done. Ta-da! Nice. I guess we'll just have to wait and see next episode what happens there. So now we'll go on to building operations. Oh, I need to lose this gold, 25 gold, right? Let me just figure out where that comes from. Probably from the Drifter. He's so rich right now. Yeah, Drifter's like so rich. He can basically just pay for that himself. Let's do 15. Let's do 16 from the Drifter, because that makes that nice number go down to 50. 16 from the Drifter, and 9 from the Deathwalker. There you go. Now all the numbers are nice. And make sure I change it here, because if I don't, then next time I'm going to add myself loads of extra gold by accident. 68 is closer to 69, the gamer number. Wait, what? That was the second winter event and there was only one field crossed out for winter? Yeah, that was our second, yeah. Yeah, because you do your first one here. So it's, you do the event for the next empty box. So for us, last time we crossed this, so that was our first event. Now we crossed this. And so it's 1 week's time. It's a bit weird because you count from here. But essentially we're resolving the empty box. This is where like the calendar gets confusing, because essentially which season you're in is actually the next empty box, not the box that you've just crossed, which is weird because obviously this is in a week's time. So it's like the calendar is kind of telling you, you know, contradictory things, where it's saying put it in a week's time, so you do, but we're resolving events for that is in this open box. We are technically on the cross, but we actually resolve events 1 box ahead. It's kind of weird. I think the calendar system is not clear, which is why I made my video about it, because that's one element that I don't think many other people talked about, because the calendar is a bit screwed. The next empty box is the week you're in. Basically, you cross out a week once you complete it. Yeah, so it is a little bit odd, but we're definitely we're good. The events are happening at the end of the week is how you interpret. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair way of justifying it. But I think it can be confusing when people say put it for a week's time and you put it here, because I think a lot of people would think that to put it here, right? I think that's. It's just like, once you understand it, it's fine, but I think it is a little bit unintuitive to begin with. But once you understand, like, okay, that's how it works, it's fine. But it just, you need like to justify it, right? For sure, that can be a bit confusing. Yeah, absolutely. Like, that was one of the things, like, why I wanted to make that video last week, was because, you know, the calendar seems to be an element of the game that people are confused about, even though, like, it seems like it should be normal, but I totally got it, because like I was getting myself confused with the calendar to begin with. Just, it was odd. And then you keep second guessing yourself that you're doing it right. Okay, operation step. So I'm going to buy everything again. I feel like there's no point in me holding on to my gold at this point in time, really. So I'll buy 1 wood, 1 hide, and 1 metal. So we'll buy those. So that's 6 gold. I'll take 4 from the drifter. And 2 from the Deathwalker. And I'll put them in the communal because why not? Okay, craftsman, no effect. Alchemist, no effect. Workshop, no effect. Barracks, I think I have all my soldiers back now, right? Yeah, I do. So I can't do anything with the barracks either. So that's a nice, simple building operation step. So now, downtime. So downtime, crafting and brewing potions. I don't think we can brew potions right now. Crafting we could take a look at. What do we have? We have amulet, don't we? Amulet of life. I think we could maybe consider getting rid of the traveler's cloak and maybe getting something for the Deathwalker. Like a chest piece for the Deathwalker. Because like +1 health is fine, but perhaps kind of like not so good anymore. How about like something like cured leather armor? So how much would that cost? We would need, oh, we need the concoction, don't we? Which we could make. We could get cured leather armor. Especially if we're going to be going into a solo scenario, I think something like this could be really nice. So we need to brew a unhealthy mixture. And we need number 4, which I think is just, is it just the cloak? No. What's number 4? Is that just a standard armor? Probably is. I wish the numbers for the items were also printed on the front. Oh, I guess they kind of are. 9, 10. Oh, yeah, they kind of are. Oh, no, they're not. No, they're not at all. Yeah, I wish the number of the item was also printed on the front. Number 4. What's number 4? Because number 4 is the potion, maybe, and then 98 is the item? Yeah, 98 is the unhealthy mixture. So number 4. Ah! Yeah, it is crude hide armor. Okay. So we can make this. So if we sell back the traveling cloak, which means that we get 2 gold. So that's going back. Then we need to brew the unhealthy mixture, which means we need 2 of the same. Do I actually even have that? Ugh, I don't. I actually don't have 2 of the same. I suppose I could No, is there any way that I could distill to do this? Possibly. We need to build some kind of like herbology garden, herbalist garden, so that we can gain herbs on demand. There's no way. Oh, hang on. I guess I could brew. No, because then I distill it down. It's not going to work. Damn it. That's like the first time I've never not had. I guess I could maybe distill another potion down. Is there a potion here I'm not using? I think I did that last time though. No, I'm using every single potion because I kind of decided to not do that. Oh man. Come on, think. I wonder if I could distill one potion to get a duplicate, then potentially get... That could work, right? If I was to distill a stamina potion... Hang on, I'm mixing up my items between my characters here. If I was to distill a stamina potion, I could get the one thing that I need. So I could get, like, say, Arrowvine. So I could distill this and I could get Arrowvine. Then I could yeah, but then I can't get the stamina potion back because I'm going to be missing the Arrowvine. Yeah, whichever way I do it, I'm going to be losing a potion, I think. Is it worth me losing a stamina potion? And then maybe just brewing a different potion? Yeah, probably. So if I was to get rid of that, then I would have that. So then that means then I would have to brew another potion using anything other than Arrowvine. I have an axe nut. I have a corpse cap. I have a rock root. So I don't have snow thistle, which is kind of annoying because that's on every single good recipe. Oh, I could do a glancing potion. What if I was to get rid of the power potion instead of the stamina potion? Oh, hang on, I can make a frenzy potion. I can make a frenzy potion with what I have. That's not very good though. Oh, damn. Healing potion, what about that? No. That's Arrowvine again. Maybe I should make it with like double... something else. Double rock root, maybe? Maybe I go double rock root. Then I have to find a potion that gets rid of rock root. No, it doesn't work. I can figure this out. There's definitely a way to make this work, chat. Did I discover all the potions? Not yet, no. Oh, I can make a stone skin potion. That's pretty good, right? During your turn, ward self. I mean, maybe it's not that good. It's kind of fine. Could be good for helping a solo scenario, right? I am struggling things here. I mean, it could be at least a fun one to use. What happens to the items upon retiring? Returns to supply, but you can distill everything before retirement. Yeah. You can when you get back to town, you could choose the order that you do everything in and then retire when you want. You have to retire, so you can't go back out again on another scenario, but you can do all of that in your own ordering. And to be honest, the only real reason to not just jump straight to retirement would be to, distill all your potions down to make sure that everybody can use them. I think I'll just do that. I could get rid of the stamina potion, and then essentially I could use the stone skin potion. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it. I want to mix it up a little bit, so this could be fun. So we'll distill the stamina potion to get an arrow vine. Okay, so we've now got 2 arrow vine. We're then going to use 2 arrow vine to create an unhealthy mixture. So that's basically, we're down to 0 arrow vine. Then we will brew a stone skin potion. Already got one out, which cost me a corpse cap and a rock root. I'll just probably get the stamina potion back at some point. Okay, so now we've done that. So we've got these. So now we need to buy this. So it's 2 hide from our Deathwalker. I think we have we only have 1. Oh, for God's sake. Oh, we only have 1 hide. Hang on, I bought some collective hide, didn't I? So I'm going to say that I put the collective hide on the Deathwalker. I bought some collective hide. So I'll take that 1 hide that I put into my collective supply and I've given it to the Deathwalker instead. Okay? Right. we got there. Then we combine these 2 items to make cured leather armor. We got there. My word. Oh. Feels a bit inefficient, but at this point in time, screw it. Are the items fun despite being nerfed into oblivion? They're just different. Like, this is why I think, like, stuff like cured leather armor is, like, a bit interesting. For me, so far, the funnest items have been the small items. Because most of the main kind of equipable items are all nerfed variants of what they were in Gloomhaven. So it just feels like, hey, we're giving you like the very baby starter item for it. And then as you get better at the game, as you level up your craftsman, as all of this stuff kind of happens, you will then get the better items that you might be used to seeing in Gloomhaven. So that's definitely feels the case. Also, like the items that we paid gold for to begin with feel better than the items that we're crafting initially. So there's something to be said about that. The ones where you can initially buy when you come to Frosthaven. But I will say we just unlocked the feathered cloak, which looks like a really fun item that certain characters could maybe build around. So I'm holding out hope. I just feel like it's always going to be a bit of a slow process, as they needed to take it down a notch to then be able to bring it up. Whether or not the items get to the heights of what Gloomhaven was, or even higher, I don't know. I couldn't tell you until I played more of the game. But right now, generally, items are a little bit below. But I'm still very early on, in the campaign. Didn't criticize renewing potion is nerfed to Mooneering. It's fine. I mean, to be honest, it basically does what Mooneering does for you at that point in time. Like, most of the time you only have, you know, unless you really go to town on it, there's probably only 2 or 3 items. So it's only like minorly nerfed in the sense that you're getting back 2 instead of maybe 3 at that stage. You feel like we're still very much in the state where the game mechanics just start to unravel? Yeah. Yeah, we're not at a point at the moment where we can kind of confidently say that one thing is true or not. The only thing I can start to really comment on is like the kind of scenarios, really. Because like scenarios are scenarios. They might get more interesting. The story might get interesting later on. But scenarios are scenarios. Like, you can kind of start to really think about those right from the get-go. Although there were the first like 3 or 4 scenarios, I think it was, were a bit easier than the ones we've been facing recently. So we have kind of broke out into the main kind of structure, if you like. It's like we've kind of gone through like the required tutorial missions, or like the required kind of start of the story. And now we've kind of hit the open world part of the game, if you like, where, hey, here's like 4 different directions you can go, off you go, and then you can kind of start, you know, doing things at your leisure, kind of like where Gloomhaven was. Although Frosthaven feels a little bit more freeing. It felt like we've had more things we could go do. Maybe it's just luck of the draw and the ones we've gone to, but it has felt like we've always had like 3 or 4 scenarios we can go to. And now with all of the side scenarios we have, even more. So, yeah. Okay, so that was downtime. I don't think we want to do anything more with downtime. So now we go to construction. Construction is just weird for us now because we don't have enough prosperity to upgrade anything. So we can't construct anything. Now, this is... I don't know if this is something because we haven't retired. But this is something that I've been a bit conscious of now, that we've got ourselves to a position where construction doesn't do anything. Like, there's nothing that I can build. Nothing. I've built my 2 walls that I can up to this prosperity level. I've upgraded all of the buildings that I can. So without some fresh new building coming along, there's nothing for us to do. Every other upgrade is tied to prosperity level 3, and we're not there yet. So at the moment, I feel like we're kind of a bit of a stumbling block there. No wall, no, we've done both of the walls already. So this is another kind of part that I'm a little bit worried about, that we're not going to be able to construct. Maybe that's okay. Maybe we don't need to construct every single time. But I'm just so used to it, you know, for the last, you know, 10 outpost phases, pretty much. There might have been 1 in there where we didn't have enough to construct, or we just couldn't. But generally speaking, we've constructed or upgraded every single phase. And we even did it twice, 1 phase. So maybe like that was a good reason to not do it. Like maybe this is the reason why you don't take the morale hit to build 2, because realistically, unless you're taking a morale hit maybe to build 2 walls, it's probably not worth it. How much to prosperity level 3? We are... One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 checkboxes away, I think. That was 2. Hang on. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. 7, 9. What do the grey boxes mean on the prosperity track? Like every 5? Every 5 is a grey box. What does that mean? Is a buy on Frosthaven as good as a Sleeping Lion? Maybe we should upgrade that for better booze. Yeah. I mean, we keep going on about this crater, which is supposed to be the center hub of town, and we haven't even built it yet. So I don't know where that is, but just to help count. Okay. So yeah, we're still pretty short. So this grey box on this one is in the wrong place. It should be one over. Yeah. So we're six away. I know that Pelican has been saying in the Discord that he thinks that we're short some prosperity. I mean, could we do like a count? How would we do a count to try and ensure that we've got the right prosperity? I guess we have a look at all of our upgrades and things. So in terms of buildings, we should have got one from the mining camp, one from the hunting lodge, one from the logging camp. Upgrading the craftsman, we're now level 3. We would have got 2, so that's 5 from craftsman. Yeah, because it would have been 2 and 1. 3, 4, 5. 1 from the alchemist, 6. So that's 6. Then 1 from each workshop item. 7, 8, 9. And then it's basically from events and things, which I can't really remember. So that's 9 from work from there, and then there's events. So yeah, did we get prosperity from events and we just haven't added it? I feel like we have had a prosperity happen from scenarios. Should we go back and have a look at the conclusion to some of the scenarios and just see if we missed or something? Or from like an event or something? I'm gonna have a look at the Outpost events. I'm not seeing anything from these, so maybe there's like prosperity. I don't think we have. So I don't think we've gained any prosperity from Outpost events. Not that I can tell, at least initially. So then it would be down to like conclusions. So I guess the things to look at would be maybe the first few scenarios. So I'll just have a look briefly on some of the... Because it does feel like maybe we should have gained a prosperity like somewhere from some kind of event, right? Did the start of winter calendar event give a prosperity? That was number 183.3. No, 21.4. I can check that. 21.4. Yes, it did. It did. So we should have one more. At least one more. Are we also 100% sure that we have to cross out the prosperity box with the number in? Because that would also give us one extra. That could explain the missing prosperity. Each time a numbered box is marked, the prosperity level agrees. So you do have to mark the numbered box. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, you do. Yeah. Okay, so that's fine. So that we know is fine. So we got one more prosperity from that. So now I need to maybe have a look at some of the other ones. So I'll just flick to a couple of the early ones. I don't feel like we would get prosperity from early scenarios. Seems a bit kind of counterintuitive, but I'll check. No. 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 Nope. Four. No. I think maybe we're just missing one then. 93.4. You're gonna check the rewards of our past Outpost events in the VODs tomorrow. Yeah, like I'm not quite sure. I don't think so. I can see myself missing the odd one, like we just did there. Yeah, that one isn't it either. Haven't done that one yet. Done this one. One. But the thing is that most of the scenarios that we've done have not really like, to me, they wouldn't really give us prosperity because they're kind of like the style of them. Yeah, like most of the ones that we've done, they don't thematically, they don't make sense to give prosperity, you know? You know, I don't also want to just kind of go back, but ice flows, that could be one. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, no, I don't think, I think maybe we missed one. And I can't see it. Anyway, we're not suddenly going to rocket up to prosperity level 3 by trying to find these. So I think it's safe to say that we may have missed one, but it's not going to be the deal breaker here. It's not going to make a massive difference right now. But, you know, if you do find out, Shocky, then let us know. I mean, I know that Pelican is feels pretty adamant about it. And we definitely missed one, so he was right. But I don't know if he thought we maybe were missing 2. You can account for at least 4 prosperity just due to events you've pulled, and you're only 3 weeks further along. Maybe I've just been unlucky. On the flip side, I'm about 5 levels higher than you were on morale when winter started. I mean, I guess I did pretty well with the morale stuff. Yeah, I mean, like, it could just be the events that I got. I mean, I don't remember getting particularly many... I mean, I can have a look at some of the reoccurring ones. I'm trying to not really look at them. But yeah, none of these have it in the active deck. Maybe you can get a lot of prosperity from the winter events. Okay, I don't really want to look at this. I'm not going to look at it. Well, anyway, I feel like I can rule out that we haven't, like, blatantly got it wrong. We haven't blatantly got it wrong. We might be missing the odd 1 or 2, possibly 2, but I think even that's a stretch. So blame Zane. Yeah, Zane's been stealing our prosperity. So let's leave it at that. So we can't construct, unfortunately, but we can place our new sticker down, Guardian's Temple. Where's that going? That is going in R6. R6. Where's my board? Pelican said we should be at 10 as well. Well, now we are at 10, right? I think so. So we could go and do Sacred Soil next time. Did I just... Yep. Ugh. Stickers on the folds. Yeah. Wow, right out on the edge. You see it? Kind of. Bring it down a little bit. You hate stickers on the folds? Yeah, it's really... So so what they've done is they've cut some of the stickers so that they are like, you know, they're trying to think that, you know, hey, we'll cut this sticker so that, you know, one half goes above the fold, one half goes sort of below. But the problem is that it's very fiddly, very, very fiddly. I don't feel like there's any perfect way of doing it, really. They've probably done the best that they could. I don't, like, I like sticking the stickers. So I'd rather stick the stickers than not. So I'll take that.
Nice.
Nice. Oh, this is quite a nice one because it kind of matches up with all of the routes and everything. Is there a line through this one as well, like a guide line? It is. Oh, yeah, that looks nice. Kind of matches up with the tree. Look at that. Oh, lovely. Good stick.
I think still, yeah.
Oh,
Scout
the
wins.
that's the blessing from Jeff.
Yeah.
That's the blessing
So,
from.
Isaac, at this point, can we get your approval to add an additional attack modifier deck for allies in the digital version?